Big Ten Championship, Ohio State versus Indiana. Who's ready for this? I know I am. Ageless Talk Sports, what's going on? Make sure you subscribe to get all my latest content. So we're going to take a look at some matchups here for the Big Ten. First off, this is the first ever Big Ten Championship game appearance for Indiana, and the first time two have been undefeated in the Big Ten title match. 12-0 and 9-0 in the conference. It's also a rare number 1 versus number 2 showdown and the conference title as well. A lot going on with this matchup. Ohio State, it's their 7th title game appearance, most in the Big Ten, and they're not going for their first outright conference title since 2020. Now the winner will be likely the top seed, number 1 in the land in college football playoffs, and position themselves for a first-round bye. Now, Ohio State's defense is elite. They're ranked number 1 in college football in the FBS, allowing only 7.8 points per game, and among the best versus both pass and rush. Now, they've been tested against top competition. They've shown early ability to win on the road and on neutral sites. That's a big plus. They have a championship experience, 5-1 in previous Big Ten titles, by the way. Yes, 5-1 in the Big Ten championship. Ohio State's weaknesses, though, they have 438 yards per game, 37 points per game. Isn't quite as explosive as Indiana, but Indiana hasn't played anybody, and you could say the same as us. Against a high-powered offense like Indiana, anything could happen with turnovers, third down failures, and special teams. But this game will probably be close. So taking a look at Indiana brings a dynamic offense, 483 yards a game with 44 points a game. They're among the best in college football. They're playing with momentum. They're undefeated season, first time in a Big Ten appearance. We've just talked about that. They're perfect so far in program history for the first time ever. They got playmakers, need to shut them out. And then historically, Indiana has struggled versus Ohio State with a long losing streak that goes back to 1988. There's your fun fact of the day. This will be their first game of this magnitude and the first time playing Ohio State on a neutral stage for a title, but it is in Indianapolis, so it could look for a homer game for Indiana. It might be 50-50, though, in the crowd, in the stands. If Ohio State's defense can slow them down, Indiana's margin for error is small. Turnovers or failed drives could swing momentum very quickly. Can Indiana's offense move the ball versus Ohio State's defense? I don't know. That is the biggest question. Can they do that? Third down conversions for Ohio State, forcing stops and controlling possession will be key. On the game tempo and pressure, expect Indiana to try to speed things up and force mistakes. Now, Ohio State might try to slow the game down and control the clock and play complementary football. But Indiana has the energy of first-time title game, so that's going to be probably pressure put on these players and on the coach at Indiana. Ohio State's been there, done that numerous times, going back-to-back. We just won the championship last year, and we're going to win the Big Ten championship tomorrow night at 6:30. I believe it's on Fox. It doesn't say where it's at. But we're going to go ahead and switch gears here before we go into my prediction. It is on Fox. Oh, wow, they changed it. I thought it was at 6:30. It's not going to be a late game at 8 o'clock, so maybe the Big Ten Championship pregame starts at 6:30. Like I said, it's in Indianapolis. I wish I could go there and tailgate. But taking a look at a recap of Ohio State football so far this year, their first game of the season at the time was number 1 Texas, and they had Ohio State at number 3 behind Penn State, which is freaking hilarious. Beat them 14-7, real close defensive game. All the players are just getting, into rhythm there because it was just the first game of the season, so who knows what's going to happen. Ohio State destroys Grambling 70-0. Then they take on the Ohio Bobcats, which it was 13-3 at half, but then they finished it off at 37-9 and did not cover. Ohio State goes into Washington, beats them 24-6, and then they play Minnesota, the Golden Gophers. Fleck did not row the boat at all. Ohio State dominates 42-3. We did cover. Ohio State goes into Champaign, 34-16, did not cover. Ohio State goes into Madison, Wisconsin, Camp Randall, and shuts out Wisconsin 34-0. Then we go to at home against Penn State, 38-14. And somewhere around that line, James Franklin gets fired. Ohio State goes to Purdue and West Lafayette, beats them 34-10. Then we play UCLA, destroyed them 48-10. Then we play Rutgers at home, 42-9. Then we go to Ann Arbor. That was the toughest test so far this season for Ohio State Buckeyes, and we beat them 27-9, which was awesome. Now we're putting ourselves in good contention here to go back to back with the first round bye, because you remember last year we went through the freaking gauntlet and was it 4 top 5 ranked teams in the playoffs, and we beat them all. So looking at Indiana and Ohio State here, and the spread is 48.5. The spread is 4. We're only supposed to win by 4 points, so it might be pretty close. They're thinking it's pretty close. The bettors in Vegas think it's pretty close. The over-under is 47.5. Give me the over. And we're going to go ahead and take a look. Since we're going through all this, let's take a look at my predictions, shall we? So, Indiana plays close for their offense. They have a real shot to make this competitive, maybe even pull up an upset. I don't see that happening, but realistically, I lean towards Ohio State. Now, their defense, experience in big games, and depth give them the tools to control the flow and likely prevail, unless Indiana executes near flawlessly, which I don't see that happening. Ohio State wins in a tight battle, but maybe Indiana's on top at half. But at the end, Ohio State, they are probably the best second half adjusted team in college football. They go up 31-24. That puts you at the over, and that gives you the spread as well. 31-24. Buckeyes win in the Big Ten championship. What do you guys think? Love you guys. God bless. Tip the waitress.